Hey, how's it? In this video, I'm going to be talking about my trip to Spain and Portugal back in 2018. More in depth than the shorter 2-minute video I uploaded before. So it really started in 2017 when I was living in my grandmother's garage in the back. There's a garage and it's attached but separate. There's a storage room. And I was living in this tiny little storage room for a good amount of months, and just sleeping on a bed mat, and I had my little Bulgara guitar amplifier there. And I was just coming up with ideas here and there, like as I do, and record them on my phone. And one day I just came up with some chords, and I'm recording on my phone, and I think, what do I title this? And the first word that popped in my head was Portugal. And Portugal wasn't on my mind. I wasn't looking at Portuguese things. It just popped into my head. So a year later, I was planning my trip to Spain and Portugal, my first international solo trip. And I was originally planning to go to first Italy, then to France along the Mediterranean, then into Spain, and that was pretty much the trip. So Portugal wasn't originally on the itinerary, but before I was going, right before, I was looking at like a standby ticket. I had a standby ticket for Delta, free ticket, and so I was flexible, but there had to be like free seats on the plane, right? And so I was just looking at the weather beforehand. I'm like, dude, it's raining. There's a rainstorm straight when I'm planning to go from Italy, and it would follow me from Italy to France, and for a week straight. And I'm like, dude, I'm not signing up for that. So I decided, okay, let's cut it. And okay, what country I'm gonna add? Let's add Portugal. Oh, I'll write the lyrics there. And so I went to Spain for 3 weeks and then Portugal for 1. I was anxious before going on the trip of planning of what's going to happen. Sometimes thinking ahead of time, I'm like, what's going to happen? I don't know. A lot of unknown. But the moment I departed my home and got in the Uber to go to the airport from DC to Portugal to Spain, I was locked in adventure mode. It was a blast. Anxiety melted away. I just was appreciating certain moments. There was a pretty black girl in the airport in Newark, I believe, where I took TAP Air Portugal to, like I said, to fly into Lisbon and then transfer there to Barcelona. There was, a beautiful woman wearing yellow, and I just complimented her. I just loved the color on her. It was great. And it was like brightening my trip. It had a significance. So like the year prior of this trip, I went through a hard time. It was my grandmother passed away. I mentioned once before to you know who you are, that I had my hearing issues popped up then, but that actually didn't happen. I got confused, excuse me. That actually happened years prior, but a couple things went wrong. Let me think about it. My grandmother passed away. The stress that my dad was going through taking care of her was immense, and that rubbed off on me. And I had immense heartbreak, unrequited love. Love was just going a one-way street, and something that, like a story I was spinning, that this is gonna work out. Let me separate, but then hold on, like that kind of thing, and fell apart, and I was heartbroken. I was shattered. So a bunch of stuff happened, and I was not really cheerful in that time of my life. A year later, the trip to Portugal and Spain was like, okay, like let's do it. Let's have an adventure. And seeing the woman in yellow really brought joy, and I believe had significance to the trip, because the tone of the trip was yellow and just like a brighter color. And it was just a blessing, really. And now looking back, like God made this blessing happen. I'm really grateful for him and for the trip and all the people I met. So moving forward, I fly on the plane on TAP Air Portugal to Barcelona, and I get into Barcelona, and man, seeing all the signs in Spanish, my Spanish was very weak. It's still not very great, but it's a little bit better. And I'm just walking through the streets. I stayed at a hostel called, San Jordi Rock Hostel. And it's my friend Ben recommended this to me. Actually, we were going to meet up and stay there, but he had a change of plans and didn't meet up. A friend I grew up with in Washington, D.C. And so I just stayed there, and I found out it was a party hostel. They were partying, and I met some really nice people there. And we just would go out to, some nightclubs, to restaurants, to, a variety of places. And it was a good time overall. And I got some wild stories from that hostel. Why not tell you? We'll give the full in-depth. This will be like a podcast episode. I met these two Swiss dudes, and they looked alike. So we were drinking on the base floor level where like the kitchen is, and that's where people would hang out. And we were drinking a bit, and I realized that I don't feel so great. I need to lay down. So I'm laying down on the couch. And one of the Swiss guys comes up to me. I'm like laying down, my eyes closed, and I just feel a bottle touch my lips, and I feel like liquid start flowing. This guy was pouring like some hard liquor into my mouth, and I'm like, dude, no, I'm feeling this way because of that. I don't need more of that. And he's like, oh, sure, it'll make you feel better. And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, okay. So I go back to laying there for like 5-10 minutes more, feeling a little bit better. And then all of a sudden it happens again. A bottle's in my mouth, the liquid starts pouring, I taste of alcohol, and I spit out, and I look up at the guy, and I see the same guy, and I'm pissed at this point. I just get up, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And I shove him really hard. Usually I don't do this, but I was just like, dude, this guy needs to get the message. And so he just like taken aback, like, what? And then, so turns out the next day, both of them came up to me, and at that point I realized, oh, dude, it wasn't the same guy doing it. It was the other guy. And so I forgave him. I'm like, I understand, guys. So yeah, that was one wild drinking experience. Man, I'm glad alcohol isn't the thing I like to endeavor into, especially in quantity nowadays. Whoa, that saves some misfortune. But yeah, there was really nice people from around the world, from Canada. I met my friend Maria, who's a drummer in Brazil, who now is living in Spain, and we stayed in touch. She's cool. If you're watching this, Maria, shout out. And I met some just a variety of other people, some new friends from England, Rob, I believe, and his buddies, my sister, and yeah, we just had a good time. This really is the long version. So yeah, it was a blast, and this is just Barcelona. I would walk the streets of Barcelona with my guitar sometimes. I brought my acoustic guitar, a beat up old like 1978 classical like guitar from Spain, but it wasn't a very good one that I found out later in Madrid. And so I would just carry it around, play some places, walk the Gothic quarter, check out like just the cool, awesome architecture, find good food, the typical travel stuff, right? And Barcelona was awesome. I would love to go back. And one standout person that I met is a stylish dude, content creator named Kenny Alvarez. Now, I went up to these, I took a bus up one day to this like fort, this destroyed bunker, overlooking Spain in the hills. And I ran into this guy who was dancing, moving, grooving, and he had a videographer there filming him. I think his friend was, and he was filming her. And they were a blast, and we just started talking, and we decided to link up and hang out later, and We talked, and man, he was just a really nice guy from Cuba. And man, I'm so grateful to just meet someone like that. He took some photos of me, amazing photos, like my profile picture right now on Instagram, where it's like me, a silhouette of me facing opposite of the camera with like a guitar held out in the sky. He took that. Shout out Kenny for that one. Yeah, so, man, it was some great people on that trip, really lit me up and brought some joy and harmony into my life. I eventually moved on to Madrid. I took the train, the really nice train to Madrid. I met up with my friend Tybalt, who was a roommate of mine back near UCLA when I went to Santa Monica College in Los Angeles. He was living in Madrid at that time, so we hung out for a couple of days, caught up, and I had Spanish tortilla. I think, I forgot the exact name, but basically it's like an omelet with potatoes, onion, and eggs, like flipped upside down. Pretty good. And yeah, just checked out Madrid. Eventually got a ride-share service from an app. They have an app over there called BlaBlaCar. Cool name, huh? I found some rideshare, some ride-sharees, someone driving to a smaller region called Extremadura in western Spain, closer to the border of Portugal. I wanted to visit a small town called Alcantara, which is where my last name, Alcantara, comes from. So I took a train, took the BlaBlaCar there. They only spoke Spanish. We used Google Translate. They point out some places like, this is where Game of Thrones was filmed. And so, yeah, it was a blast on the ride there. And eventually I entered Alcantara, and they dropped me off, and no one spoke English there, which is actually pretty cool. Google Translate really came through. Dude, imagine traveling in a foreign country where no one speaks English, like 30 years ago, where you don't have translate apps. Bro, like whatever our parents did. They had it on hard mode, right? We have it pretty good. And so I did that, and I stayed in a little small hotel, small room for pretty cheap, and just walked down the slight hill to the restaurant pretty much every night. And had some good Spanish cooking, and the waiter spoke Spanish, and I just used the app and used the camera app to read the menu. That's choice. And then I just walk around the town streets during the day, and I filmed some videos of me playing guitar in front of a church steeple with a bell tower rather. And man, it was just the luminous nature of that town was beautiful. And one of the stars of that town is the Alcantara Bridge, which was built by, I believe, the Romans and captured by the Moors when they invaded and took over like southern Spain for a period. And the legend has it that there was a sword lodged into the bridge at the base, and whoever pulled it out, like, what was it? They were like blessed or reward, like a great person. I'm not doing this story justice, but it sounds like a familiar story, right? I think, what was it, King Arthur or something like that? During that trip, I took some amazing photos. I've been sharing some of them in my short form videos. I've used the AI service to convert them for the photos to videos, short videos, to add some movement to them. But the original photos are all created by me. And it was awesome, dude. I love going through my old photos. You can scroll down on my Instagram and just go down like plenty. I've been taking photos for so many years. So if you ever want to experience through different like places and adventures, and the time when I was writing this EP, Wanderers EP, then yeah, just scroll back down through my Instagram. And if you see something, like it or give a comment. I appreciate that. I want to see what you're resonating with and liking. Yeah, so eventually I stayed with a nice lady in Caceres when I left Alcantara, and from there so the next song I'm releasing is called Wanderers. It's the title track off the EP. of the same name. The song after that is I'm gonna leave that as a surprise for the name of it, but that song was inspired by a moment of interacting with some hippies in the square of Caceres, and I just hung out with them. They were blowing bubbles and just vibing out, and I joined them. I was pretty much big hippie then, so I'm hanging out, having a good time, and one of the conversations sparked the song title and concept for the next song after Wanderers. Stay tuned. Yeah, and eventually from Caceres, I went down to Sevilla, and Sevilla was awesome. Stayed at another hostel, more choice people, and amazing food, great sights. I love Sevilla. And then from Sevilla, I took a bus to, I believe, Granada. And Granada is where I met an amazing flamenco player, Jose. And I got a lesson from him, and this guy's next level flamenco guitarist, just guitarist in general. I took some photos for him and his girlfriend then in compensation for the lesson. And I'm really appreciative of Jose. Thank you, Jose. So Granada was excellent. I stayed in an Airbnb and hung out with the host, and he invited me out to a bar or tapas bar with some of his friends, and I met up with a nice Japanese man who lives in Australia named Hiro, and we went to the Alhambra, the cultural fusion of Islamic, Christian, and Roman architecture and influence. And the Alhambra is amazing. It's this temple, there's plenty of mosaics from the Islamic influence that are awesome. And then there's the Roman Colosseum kind of influence, and the Christian influence, and the light in there is truly amazing. It's pretty popular, but I highly recommend going. The sights above, the sunsets, Granada is excellent. And there's some choice hikes up in the hill. I did a hike up there. I was just by myself, and I was doing some ninja poses, doing jumps I'm like Kung Fu Panda. And so, that was Granada. And after that, I took a bus down to Algeciras, which is not a tourist town. That's by the coast, across from Gibraltar, which England owns, a region of England. And a big, towering, cliff rock, formation, huge, towering over the harbor across the bay. And I went there because I wanted to see the greatest flamenco player to ever live. I wanted to visit his grave and pay him respect. His name is Paco de Lucia, and his music is awesome. And he grew up in that small working, fisherman village. And man, I visited his grave, played some music for him, and had ate good in one restaurant, and just stayed in a small little place on Airbnb, and was treated well. And then I just took a bus back to Sevilla, and from Sevilla I took another bus over, finally, to Portugal. So Portugal I was only there for a week, but Portugal is fire. It hits. It is the goodness. I want to spend more time there. I entered the southern coast, which is called the Algarve. Fun fact, I mispronounced, pronounced it like an American in the actual song Portugal. I called it the Algarve, right? And it's actually Algarve. It's a little softer. But I tried to correct that, re-record it, but it just didn't have the same feeling to it or tone. It wasn't as good. So my friend who recorded and mixed and mastered the EP, Mario, he just said, just go with what sounds better. It's fine. So that's what we went with. Anyone who's Portuguese watching this, I'm sorry. I'm just American. I'll try to pronounce it better when I'm singing it live, all right? Redemption. Yeah. So Portugal, great. I stayed in a town called Faro. There's a really cool down-tempo artist whose name is Faro, and he has an album called Dreamin' in Orange. It's just like a chill, like Euro kind of like meditative kind of album, and I just really was inspired by that. So I had to stay in Faro naturally, and stayed in a great hostel there. I've been staying in a lot of good hostels along the trip, and I met some more nice people, and I took a tram. A highlight was taking the tram from Faro to other small villages along the coast. One was called, I'm going to botch this, Olhao, Olhao, and the A has a little squiggly on top. Yeah, that place was great. That's where I took the photo of me in front of a palm tree, like smiling and playing my guitar. That's on my Spotify profile, down lower. That's where that photo was taken. And I just decided, let me just stand in front of this palm tree. And that's what inspired the lyric, Palm Tree Free. It's from that moment. It's cool how these specific moments can totally come to life in a lyric, right? How many songs are like that? I had some good fish there, and I just love the sun-soaked coast of Portugal. It was gorgeous, and the blue skies and the giant cliffs. I took a train. Eventually, I went to Lagos, spelled Lagos, and there's met a cool busker there. There's a lot of Brits down there. You know, the Brits love the sunshine. It's like how people from the north and the east coast go down to Florida or something like that. So a lot of Brits there, and he was a busker, and he was good. He was playing some good songs, and eventually I took a bus to a place called Caceres, and Caceres was the most southern point in Portugal, and that point was amazing. Really high cliffs, towering above, and there was a lot of surfers. It really reminded me of California, Southern California, where I was living before. That place was awesome. Yeah, surfers, beaches, sun, orange trees. So I took some photos of orange trees there, and that's what inspired the chorus lyric of Orange Blue Sky. Eventually, I ran into some new friends who I stayed with at the hostel on the bus ride to Sagres. Like, coincidentally, thank you, Lord. Hey, let's go. The Lord provides. They were great to hang out with. They took some photos of me. I took some photos of them. And we just really appreciated the beautiful sunset over there before we headed back. After there, I went up, took a bus to Lisbon, my final stop. And Lisbon was excellent. I went to this specific restaurant. I forgot the name of it. Maybe I'll post it in the caption of this video to share with you. There was a really nice chef there. It was like a white tablecloth restaurant, and I got some really good fish. And the chef just talked with me and was really just warm and welcoming, explaining me a cultural difference. Like, I kind of was confused by something. I forgot what it was that they served me or didn't serve me. And he just corrected me, helped me, and gave it to me anyway. And I went there once, and then I went there right before I flew back to the United States. I ran across town to just go to that restaurant because it was so good. The fish in Portugal is, yeah. In fact, some fish is cooking right now. Fish good. So I went to a place called Sintra, which is like a 45-minute train ride from Lisbon. And it's all this hilly mountainous region with castles, these towering Portuguese castles. One of the places I forgot, Castle de Pina, and it has all these wild colors. It's red, and yellow, and just bright and very vibrant. Not what you expect of a typical castle, although they do have typical castles. Beautiful grounds, this cool descending well that you just spiral down into the ground, and the light is just shining through. Some beautiful grounds and gardens, and epic views up there. And I even bought a cool Portuguese white sweater that I don't wear very much, but maybe this winter, got to get in it. Something like a grandma would knit you. Yeah, that was another highlight, and that's pretty much my trip to Spain and Portugal. in long format. It was a blast. And back then, I wasn't so close to God. In fact, I barely paid him any mind at all. Like, he was like a side note in my life, to be frank. But now looking back, I am just so appreciative of him guiding like my path, the people that I met, and just sparking joy and life back into me after that depressive time beforehand. Man, the Lord's so good. He takes care of us, whether we're close to him or far away from him. But it's so much better to be close with him and to see how he moves. So yeah, that's pretty much my trip to Spain and Portugal. And thank you for listening to me. I hope this has been just fun to listen to. And yeah, if you ever go to Portugal, please play my song and make like a short video or just show me. Like, I would love that. I'd get hyped up. Yeah, if you want any tips on where I went, I could probably dig up some places, or by all means have your own adventure. But I'm willing to help and support you in any way I can, if I can. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you. God bless you. Aloha. Keep streaming Portugal. The next song's coming up. Probably, it's either coming out soon if you watch this, or it's already out. And the plan is to keep releasing a single. So a little switch up. I'm gonna be releasing a single every month, and then the full EP in December. So then the whole collective EP will be released in December. I decided to do this waterfall technique just to squeeze the orange more, Originally I was going to release the full EP, in like very soon. And I know I told some of you that. So if you're part of my mailing list, you will get some of the songs way early. And you'll get some stories way early. You'll get like a bunch of stuff way early, photos, all of that. So please sign up for my mailing list. You can find a link to my link tree below, and just like it's on my website. Just sign up for the mailing list, and you get perks. I'm telling you, like, I love you for that. For anyone who's already signed up for my mailing list, yo, big love. All right, adios.